3, 2, 1, go. Greetings, good afternoon, good Saturday afternoon here in deep rural Thailand, the province of Phuket, about 30 kilometers from the Cambodian border in what's considered northeast Thailand. I'm amongst the rice fields. Blog is freetheanimal.com, social presence on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. All links to those at the blog. Okay, so I'm kind of getting into doing this video thing after my first one in a long time. I was kind of bemoaning doing them, and here I am. I always seem to end up contradicting myself, right? But at least I'm transparent about that. So, well, first off, if you notice something with the eye there, it's because I popped myself with my resistance bands. The nearest gym is a 2-hour drive away, so my exercise is these, and I have the, come on. Should have had this stuff staged, huh? My props, my stage props. So I have the black one in here in my office. This one is out there, and this morning, at 5:30 in the morning, I'm out there doing some pull downs, some tricep pull downs like this over a steel, joist up above. And somehow one end of this blue one gets loose, and I get popped right in the eye. Wow. And I couldn't see it. Then I reach up and I go like this, and there's blood on my hand, and I can't see it's black. Like, that's not good. That's a little worrisome. So I went in and washed it off. It wasn't the blood, it was just like kind of a shock trauma or something like that, because within a few minutes I could see it went from the top down. I could see a little bit, and the rest was blurry. Within a half an hour I could see, so I was like, whew, dodged a bullet. But public service announcement, that's why I mentioned it, is I wear my these are blue blocker glasses. I don't often wear them. Actually, they're clear, so I end up using them when I drive at night on my motorcycle, because the bugs are insane out here, right? And you get popped in the face all the time, but you not getting it in your eye, or when it's raining, for example. Anyway, that and maybe a little bit more examining of the equipment before you start, so it's not going to come undone. I looked at it afterwards. There's nothing broken. I have no idea how it disconnected. So it must have been bound up, and somehow, because there's a safety on the hook, and then there's a safety. Somehow it got through that, and without breaking it. Whoa. So anyway, there's that. But I was, I get up every morning, so this is kind of my routine now, because here in the village there is a I guess the Thais call them, I call them temples, not monasteries, temples. But you can hear the monks. They start their morning prayer chants at 4, and it's close enough where I can just hear them through the trees, and it makes me feel good. I don't exactly know how to describe it, other than to say that it feels like I'm meaningfully privileged. How's that? Stab at it. Meaningfully privileged. We had when I finished the house here, we had a housewarming party. Well, that's what I called it. Girlfriend called it a blessing ceremony, and people came from all over the village. We had about 50 people here. And the monks come and bless it, 9 of them, because 9 is a lucky number here in Thailand. And basically, you feed them, they eat, and then everybody else eats. So The day before, I'm like, Yui, when does the party start? She said, oh, they start cooking at 3. Well, okay. So next morning, 5 in the morning, the lights come on. She's like, Richard, the party's starting. I'm like, what? You said it starts at 3 or after 3. She said, yes, they started cooking at 3. She meant 3 a.m. The everything starts at 6 in the morning. The monks eat at like 6:30. They eat twice a day, 6:30 and 12:30, and that's it. Now you know why that you never see an obese monk, not even close. They all look healthy, and the longevity is crazy, right? So something to be said about that. You know, I don't know whether it's stoic or whatever, you know, stoic Buddhist, you know, simple, stress-free kind of life and routine. One other aspect I like about the morning ritual is that who knows how long it's been going on, you know, thousands of years maybe. It's quite a ancient culture, you know, in Buddhism and so on, and so it's kind of tantamount to counting on the sun rising in the morning. It's nice to have things that you can count on. You know, you're feeling bad, it's like, hey, get up and listen to the chanting. You know, do a little workout instead. Just don't pop yourself in the eye. Anyway, so yesterday I did a rant about a certain thing going on in society and some of the measures people are taking. You notice I'm being careful with my language because, you know, the equivalent of Siri or Alexa is listening, and that's what YouTube calls their team. This video accompanies a post. I've already completed the post. It's fairly substantial. I don't know if I have a word count here. Probably about 1,000 words or so about it. So the video is 22 minutes. I published it yesterday afternoonish, and I wrote a little post about it, put it up, distributed it, and within 2 hours I get an email from YouTube saying that, well, okay, let me just read the YouTube. That will frame everything, okay? Typically it's not great to like read a bunch of stuff when you're doing these videos, so bear with me. It's not super long. Hi, Richard Nikoley. Our team has reviewed your content, and unfortunately, we think it violates our community guidelines. We've removed the following content from YouTube. Link to the post. Thing, another thing, an awful rant. We know that this might be disappointing, but it's important to us that YouTube is a safe space for all. If content breaks our rules, we remove it. If you think we've made a mistake, you can appeal, and we'll take another look. We'll take another look. Keep reading for more details. How your content violated the policy. YouTube does not allow content that spreads certain misinformation that contradicts this world organization or local authorities' information about this thing, including methods to prevent this thing, treat this thing, diagnose this things, and means of passing this thing to someone else. Learn more here with a link. How this affects your channel. Because it's the first time, little boy, the brackets, little boy, this is just a warning. If it happens again, your channel will get a strike, or as we used to call it when we were kids, a demerit. You get a demerit. And you won't be able to do things like upload, post, or live stream for 1 week. And we're gonna send you to bed without dinner. I added that. and blah 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 about how I can do better. What does that say? I forget. I didn't put that in the post. We want to help what to do next. We want to help you stay on YouTube, so please make sure you understand YouTube's community guidelines and strikes basic. Review your content with our policies in mind. If after reviewing your content you think we made a mistake, let us know. You can appeal this decision here. Well, I did this morning, but I'll get to that. So, the post I wrote, I think it's clever. Let's see if you get it. It's called, "The Children of the YouTube Delete My Video, Lie About It." Subtitled, "They're not ideological. It's about money, power, and control, like it always is." And that's really kind of what I want to cover. The thing here is not leftist ideology versus right ideology. The thing here is not how the right versus this thing I did a video about and ranted about, or that thing that people are doing to countermeasures against it, or the left's embrace of it. No, it's not ideological. So, the thing about it is that they're bald-faced lying to you. They're lying. It's not ideological based. They're lying because they have no choice, right? Because they're bought, sold, paid for, discounted, and cashed in by the elites, by the DNC, by the big advertisers, to some extent their media competitors, political lobbyists, all working for the left. But they're not ideological anyway. It's about money, power, and control. Because the one thing the left knows how to do, and that is to control people, because people are primarily driven by fear. And so if you can keep them spun up and fearful, you can get them, you can control them. But what is the means by which you control them? It's not just lies, right? Children tell lies. So, as soon as a child starts to think and talk, the first thing they do is start lying. All of them. They lie their ass off, right? So, they what is the classic? They come tattletaling, right? Feigning being hurt, whimpering, whining, crying, right? Looking for that extra, since you shower them with love and attention, as you should, their little proto brains think, oh man, I can get a boost, I can get an extra showering of this attention, right? But it doesn't always work out that way when there's back when it used to be good parents and good relatives and good friends and family and teachers and society, where once you got old enough that you could understand a little bit of reason, it was like, where's the blood, right? Or stop your tattling, tattletale, stop your tattling. Or the one, I can remember this specifically from my mom. Do you want something to cry about? Do you want something to really cry about? Do you want me to give you something to cry about? So the problem is that so many people, for whatever reason, had real shitty upbringings, and rather than learn that the path forward as a human is persuasion, and from a foundation of good values, good wholesome values. So you persuade other people, right, to get what you want in trade. But we have a whole bunch of sociopaths, really, and most of them are just sociopathic lackeys. lackeys. The Karens and Kens and floozies and hussies, white nighters, beta boys, soy boys, basement dwelling wankers. But the most clever become propagandists. Now, what's the difference between a lie and propaganda? Propaganda is integrated and purposeful. Right? Propaganda seeks to tightly integrate through hierarchy and interconnectedness a web of self-dependent and connected lies in a narrative and use of slogans and bromides and memes, so that it's a package deal. That's why when you're on the political left, you know, you got to take the whole package. That's kind of why it's breaking apart now, because, at least my perception, is it's starting to show a little wear and tear because it's getting so ridiculous fringe that a lot of people just aren't willing to take the whole package anymore. You know, it's too much to swallow that they just don't like, and plus it's starting to affect them personally. So that's the thing about propaganda. Now, to how that works is that you get people should be the lies should be humiliating, right? When you are asked to swallow lies, it's humiliating. It's even more humiliating when you feel like or are forced to repeat the lie, and you lose all sense of probity when you do that. But see, the left offers you a reward for that. See, if you accept the package deal, if you take all the lies and you regurgitate them and spread them, you are bestowed with virtue and status, right? And you have a lot of company. See, so it's not humiliating; it's virtuous. You're part of the team, right? You're in good company. Maybe a lynch mob, but it's good company. So that's how it works. Now, so the left is not ideological at all. The right, the conservative right, I'm not talking about Republican blue bloods, those fuckers, those wastes of fuck. No, they're not conservative. They are money, power, control, just like the right. But true conservatives are ideological. God, country, family, church, community, commons, you know, reasonable service to the country, military, community service. You know, it's funny. They do the surveys out like in rural country, and you have all these leftists that are always virtue signaling. Well, it turns out that conservative people from the right give far higher as an individual, as a rate per person than do these lying scum, the leftists, the left, from the left. So how does YouTube fit into all this? Well, they're liars. You know, and they're not ideologues. So what can I say more? By the way, so let's just cover. Let's expose the lie here just a little bit. So I've been doing my blog is since 2003, 5,000 posts. I started uploading videos in 2006. So that's 14 years. I've uploaded 130 videos in 2006. Since 2006, 14 years, 130 videos, comes out to 340,000 minutes or 340,000 total views, and about 14,000 hours of viewing. Some creators beat that in an hour, in their first hour of upload, you know. But anyway, so I'm looking at this, you know, all this stuff of like going back to the email. Our team you know, and we've determined, and blah, 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 blah. All this stuff to give you the impression that someone's actually looking at it, rather than saying, hey, our stupid equivalent of Alexa, who's only good for saying, Alexa, set an alarm, or Alexa, set a timer, pretty much, has like listened to your video and determined. That would be the truth. So there's 30,000 hours per hour uploaded, not minutes, 30,000. Mine is 22 minutes, 30,000 hours. And it took them 2 hours to get back to me. So in that time, my 22 minutes, that's 60,000 hours, my 22 minutes comes out to 0.000005061. I don't know what the TH is. That's 10, 100. It's a lot. It's a minuscule percentage slice of that total time, and they got their team on it, the YouTube team. Right? Liars, pathetic. All right. So they then, oh, okay. So this morning I decide, all right. They say you can appeal it. All right, let's see how that goes. So at 9 o'clock, I click the appeal button. You can actually say something. You can actually put something. I basically said number one. How would I say? I said number one. I doubt you have people qualified to judge true, false, or misleading information in that thing area. And two, I stated nothing contradictory to your community guidelines. Everything was factual in terms of numbers that I put out, and the rest was my opinion concerning policy. So 37 minutes later, in that 37 minutes, during that 37 minutes that their team got together, conducted a further review of my video, and made a determination that, of course, their decision stands, was valid and it stands. During that time that they reviewed my 22 minutes, 1,116,000 minutes of video was being uploaded. Wow. What efficiency. Or they lied again. Okay, so I'll put this in the post. This is a little bit more flavorful maybe than the dry post. See how it goes. And of course I'll be, so I had my video yesterday up on BitChute. So there's a link there so you can actually watch it to see how bad it was. Awful. I called it an awful rant. It is not for the washed, and it comes with no fainting couches, right? So you can watch it. Some people love that stuff and some people hate it. It seems like, it's funny, it seems like the chicks like it more than the Kens do, you know. When I get shit from haters, it's almost always the dudes, the white knighters.